Have you ever been in love before? Ever felt that gravitational pull towards someone and had it reciprocated? Felt the bliss of interlocking your mind with another and learning to appreciate every little thing about them? If you said yes, then you've probably experienced the highs and lows of marrying an NPC in Skyrim. It's pretty realistic. They'll just cook you food and give you money. There's not much more to it than that. Whoever invented the concept of employee probably just didn't have a wife. And now we're all stuck putting fries in the bag, so that's great. For those of us who've never attained the lover's comfort status effect, is there a way that we can commodify and sell one of the deepest experiences that we can have as people? Also, real quick, like and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. Can we effectively emulate the subtle push and pull of a relationship, quiet moments of comfort and understanding, or make the player develop a deep devotion to a robot? We can definitely capture certain parts of the essence of a relationship. We can create work that reminds people of their existing experiences, or make them yearn for a fantasy. The only way to completely simulate it is by replicating the unpredictability of a real social interaction, while installing the consistency of a realistic personality. People are already falling in love with AI, but imagine how much worse it's going to get when we start making the AI have actual human isms, like if they were standoffish at first and slowly opened up as you got to know them, and revealed a bottomless pit of intrigue and interesting perspectives. Maybe it agrees to watch all 6 seasons of The Sopranos with you, and gives detailed notes on the tragedy of Christopher Moltisanti. I could fuck with that.
You were saying she had a nice ass.
I was trying to say something positive because she's your friend.
Dating already has a lot of game-like elements. Tuning your communication style to new people is a whole challenge in of itself. It is actually a huge learning curve, like talking to people is really hard, especially people who you're different from, which, when actively trying to find a partner, is usually the case. Most games with a romance option either fails or doesn't try to capture the spontaneous experience of meeting someone that you could fall in love with. I think part of this reason is just the expectation. If you're playing a game, it's likely that you're going to know what you can or can't do, especially now in the age of YouTube reviewers. It's rare that I buy a game without knowing more or less what kind it is, or what it's about. And in the real world, when you're looking for love, it's probably going to be harder to find, because you unintentionally close your mind to what love could look like. In Persona 5, all the romanceable characters are on the box, so you kind of know what the deal is when they eventually pop up in the story. The closest games really get to this experience specifically are usually in the adventure genre, as less player choice means more natural progression that doesn't have to account for the player choosing between multiple suitors. But the difference here is that linear story games with romance are more akin to a traditional story structure than a true simulation. While films and linear games can be especially powerful when it comes to crafting a dynamic between two people, a video game has the potential to take it further. It could possibly get the closest to replicating it out of any medium just due to the fact that it's interactive. Just like in real life, the only one who can push the relationship forward is you. And also just like in real life, there are past states and failed states. Say the wrong thing and you could end up with a drink in your face. Giving the player that option has the potential to be completely enthralling, which is why I think the relaxed nature of most games' romance systems is holding them back. This is where the game Catherine shines.
Hey, where'd you go? Snap out of it! How many years have we been together?
How many years?
I'm asking you.
It's been so long I can't remember.
You married, huh?
Hey, nothing's set in stone yet.
What, you don't want to marry your girlfriend?
I mean, I love her, but I don't think we need to run out and get married.
It's a mix of linear and choice-based storytelling, with each ending representing a different side of the character you play. The romance here hits harder than most because of the realistic nature of the situation. Despite all the mystical elements, the story is essentially a bored 32-year-old who is tempted by a younger woman who plays into his immaturity and desire to regress. This game is all about exploring that specific dynamic, and what ending you get will reflect your own mental state. If you're as stunted as Vincent, you can end the game with the younger Catherine, who is actually an underworld demon, and rule that alternate hell dimension with her as your queen. There's an ending where you'll be sent back to your high school years, and you can relive your past all over again with Catherine at your side. Kind of the ultimate down bad fantasy. Catherine has some real depth that articulately explores the very real relationship dynamic shared by millennial software engineers across the planet. But is it possible to capture this for everyone without making them their own personal game? I mean, realistically, only a small pocket of people actually make games, and of course times are changing, but it's usually just dudes who look like this. And they make amazing stuff, don't get me wrong, but romance has many facets. Probably a near infinite number of unique experiences from different people in different places throughout different times.
I don't schedule my bell pepper use. That's not the sort of thing I put on a calendar.
Well, I just thought if you had an idea of what you were cooking,
it's extremely
vegetables,
unlikely.
It can't really be possible to create some kind of one-size-fits-all romantic simulation that everyone will have the freedom within to be exactly themselves. Any dialogue in game must be written by someone else, so no matter the skill of the writer, it's never going to be exactly what you would want to say. This disconnect could be devastating in romantic contexts, as it is within these contexts that you want to be yourself the most. Like, I don't care about what I say to some random NPC who wants me to go clear a settlement, the result is going to be the same. But the whole fun of a relationship is that you get to be your deepest self with someone, and they get to be their deepest selves with you. That's just not something you can put in a bottle, but maybe it's something that you can imitate. Like I was saying before, linear story games often miss out on the understated moments. More so playing out like a greatest hits compilation of the most important moments for you to see, so we aren't inundated with quests like stop by the mall on your way home from work to trade in your wife's anniversary gift for a bigger size or some shit. But without them, you're missing out on a lot of realness that comes with actually loving someone. This is what makes something like Stardew Valley surprisingly charming. Even though it's not much, you actually have to figure out a lot about each NPC if you want to consider romancing them, especially if you do it the hard way and don't just look up the wiki. NPCs will make passing comments about their likes and dislikes, and they have specific schedules that change according to each season, so you actually have to pay attention to what they do, where they go, and take risks bringing stuff that they may or may not like in order to increase your standing. This combined with the slow, chore-based gameplay of Stardew Valley, and you have a pretty damn good simplification of what it means to be a part of a community. Each character unfolds as they warm up to you, and you can gain perks like access to their living spaces. The biggest fumble is just after you get married, and they essentially just become an ornament for your farm. But everything leading up to that is pretty great. You can even cheat on them, which will result in unique cutscenes where they berate you for being greedy. Stardew Valley romance feels appropriately reactive, and it's fun to actually have to put an effort to check in on people every day, and be rewarded for it. Animal Crossing is essentially just a glazing simulator, so I'm hoping the next one does something interesting so I can finally rizz up Isabel, cause I know she's been wanting me for years now. Back to Persona 5. The romance system here is reminiscent of the Stardew Valley formula, but with a sense of urgency added to the mix. As relaxing as Stardew is, love isn't always relaxing. Especially in city life, there can be a million things to do and barely any time to do it. You don't have time to see everyone you want, and you have to make choices about who you would want to invest your time in. Persona 5 characters aren't always available, and you have to be consistent when you first meet them or else they might stop hitting you up. It's very indicative of modern life, with the overwhelming amount of communication that is expected today as the norm. By late game, your phone will be filled with messages from people that you know, and you'll have to leave a lot of them hanging so you can go do a giant burger challenge. Another game with satisfying romance systems is the Sims series. This is a lot different from what we would typically describe as romance in games, but by definition, this is probably among the best. No RPG is going to give you pretty much the entire lifespan of a character. The only caveat being that you are pretty much just God, forced to observe and control rather than participate. But it's easy to get really attached to these little guys who you see progress through each stage of life. Like, there aren't many other games that really capture the beauty of life in the way that The Sims does. It's completely grounded, and your Sims do little more than what you yourself would do on a daily basis, but that's what makes it so awesome. It's fun watching them do menial tasks or have crazy diarrhea. Having a full perspective of two personalities going from courting to growing old together to having to bury them is low-key an insane thing to have in a game. But the fact that The Sims even exists speaks to our own fascination with ourselves as humans and really puts it into perspective that we're all just little guys running around. The enjoyment that comes from having this control over people is put to good use in a lot of games. Cult of the Lamb, for instance, has, I think, a lot of ties to the romance genre, in that it plays into this fantasy of having control over your relationships in a tongue-in-cheek way. Being able to marry who you want, sacrifice who you hate, and run your cult how you see fit is low-key way more fun than it should be. It's almost like an NSFW game in the way that it lets you do all the stuff that any sensible game would not allow you to, and gets away with it because everyone's just a little ugly animal. It's the kind of freedom that makes something like GTA so enthralling. It's like, yes, finally something that actually went there instead of tiptoeing around the inherent violence that comes with being immortal. And I'm making it out to be crazier than it is because it's not very gruesome or outwardly edgy like some other stuff out there. It's just honest, and the devs really struck a perfect balance of humor and player freedom that always has you excited for what kind of new feature you'll uncover. And you'll find yourself getting similarly attached to each cult member that you save, as when they die they're gone forever, unless you revive them as a shell of their former selves. I feel like these types of games unlock the inner child mind of playing with toys and making up a bunch of lore and plot lines between them. It's all just really imaginative stuff. It's this freedom to be a bad person that makes romance feel so much more real. Because it's just straight up boring when you can do no wrong and people love you just because. There needs to be some kind of alternate path, some tangible consequence that shows you exactly why you should act right. This is literally just as true in real relationships. Self-respect is important because you need it to realize the reality of how you are being treated. If you let them walk all over you just out of fear of being alone, you're allowing them to be free of consequence, so there's nothing stopping them from continuing. It makes it boring for them and abusive for you. You can never have your cake and eat it too. Games that understand this have choices with the most gravity. Games that forego it and let you do whatever with no consequence are just nonsensical. There's no way around it. And most games do forego it, because the initial thought in the context of selling a project is, why would you want to tell the player no? Why would you want to deny them what they want? But imagine taking this into the real world and acting like it's a crime to be denied what you're owed. That's just not how this works, bruh. No one is owed anything. I mean, it really does feel like a miracle when you find someone you truly connect with, but you find that person, you don't look for them, because you truly don't know what you're looking for. The only thing that you know for sure is what you've seen other people have, which isn't for you. Only you are you, and the more yourself you commit to being, the more you'll eventually stand out to the person who values that. What's the point in being in a relationship just for the sake of it? Connections can be found within friends or community, so focus on those first, and maybe your friend or community will present that connection that you're looking for. The best fictional romance can only teach us about what's possible, but they can't replace it, because there's no way for them to specifically know you. As it stands, not even an AI chatbot can do it, because the experiences it pulls from are never its own, so how can it bring any truly new perspectives to the table? All it can do is inform you. So, yeah, use games and use media to learn more about love, not replace it. There's no way to simulate it to the extent that it will make you truly satisfied. So go text the homie, or apologize to your ex, cause you only got so much time to do so. Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this.